What's going on, everybody? Sonar here, and I'm on the shores of beautiful Lake Martin in Alabama. This is my first time to this lake, but we are all set up. Bass Base Camp is set up. We've got the Lance 975, of course, got the tournament rig, the Nitro Z20, and of course the 1-ton Ram. But the last video that I did, as far as a review of the Lance 975, I got a lot of feedback, good and bad, which is fine. Constructive criticism is welcome on my channel, but a lot of people complain that they saw this face way too much. Who wouldn't want to see this face? But I understand, and your cries for less of me and more of the camper were heard, and so I wanted to do a video now that I've lived in this thing for several months now. Now that I've got to know it a lot better, get to know all the components, and the things that I do like and the things that I don't like, I wanted to redo that video. In fact, I'm going to be doing two videos. The first one is going to be on the exterior of the Lance 975, and all the components and all the things that I love, all the things that I don't love as much. And then we're going to go inside the 975 and look at where I live every single day. I haven't cleaned it up at all. It's exactly how I've been living in it. So you're going to be able to see real life experience in the Lance 975. So let's get started with the outside. Enough of me. All right, so let's go ahead and start at the front of the camper. I'm going to squeeze past here. All right, so the front of the camper, of course, Lance has that one-piece fiberglass construction on the front, that nose piece. You know, that's phenomenal. I think overall the build of this camper is great. Very structurally sound on the front. You know, it's pretty seamless. There are some seams down here. This is where they attach that one-piece fiberglass nose cap on. I actually got to see them make these campers at their factory in California in Lancaster, and got to experience a little bit of their factory. So that was really cool. The one reason that I really started to lean towards Lance is because of the build, because of the internal components and how they put it all together using the CNC machines and everything that they do to kind of up the production of their product. So anyways, so you got the nose cone, you got the fiberglass siding. One of the great things about the exterior of this camper and all of the Lance campers is the fact that you've got these frameless windows. Those are really cool because you can open them up and you can actually have them open in a rainstorm. You can see right here I've got this one open. Of course, it's not raining, it's a beautiful day, but that makes a big difference. It's actually kind of cool to open that up when it's when you got a thunderstorm rolling through, because I like thunderstorms personally. But anyways, so moving back here, I mean, of course you got the jacks. This right here is a swing jack for a dually, so you can swing it in, so you have more line of sight with your mirrors on the sides, and then you swing it out for putting it down. Just make sure you swing it out. I made the mistake the other day of forgetting to swing these out, and caught it right before I lifted the trailer, so, and put those out. But overall, love these jacks. Really easy to use. Of course, it has a remote to lift it up. This model right here, of course, has one slide. It has a super slide. When we do the video on the inside, you'll be able to see that the slide has the refrigerator, which you can see right here. This is kind of the access panel for all the refrigerator workings. And then it's got the dinette, the big dinette in there. So, and then one of the cool things about this camper, and the reason why I like this model the best for what I do, is the storage opportunities. Of course, this right here is a battery compartment right there. Okay, those are two group 27, so and it's still got a little bit of room, so I'm going to end up putting some Battleborn lithium batteries in here, and converting everything over to lithium power. But plenty of room for the biggest batteries you possibly need in there. Of course, locking. One of the cool things about all these hatches, while I'm talking about it, is that instead of having that little plastic hook that popped out that would hold this open. I've been in campers with that. It's actually got a magnet there, so it just kind of sticks. You don't have to worry about it. And that plastic hook on other campers is much lesser quality. I always broke those. So, and that's the one thing, like I said about Lance, it's high quality. So here's an example of some storage. You know, pretty good storage back here. Behind it is actually the drawer for the inside storage, the under seat storage, the drawer that pops out under the dinette, which that's one thing I wish that it was a little bit more closed off. Like I can feel the items in that compartment, but overall it's really good to have this extra compartment back here. This is where I keep all my electrical extension cords and things like that, and then this blow up chair, which makes me look ridiculous when I'm trying to blow it up. But let's go kind of under here, see the different components here. Over there, you can see we've got the plug that plugs into the truck. Don't forget to unplug that, or don't forget to plug it in. Either or is bad. I've actually had an experience with both of those. And then over here, of course, you got your black water hook up right there for rinsing the tank. So you don't want to make sure that you don't hook up your water line to that unless you're just trying to rinse the tank and you have the black water tank open for rinsing. So, and then of course the white one is for city water and things like that. So yeah, easy to access, fairly easy. And then here, of course, you got your 30 amp plug. This over here accesses all of the tank controls. You got an outdoor shower. Make sure that you know, in freezing conditions, you drain the shower. And this one actually doesn't work right now because we were at the Grand Canyon, very, very cold, you know, single digits, and I burst the coupler behind it. So I'll get that replaced. It's an easy fix, but it's something that you need to think of, even if you're insulated inside. And here, you know, it might be a good idea to add extra insulation on top of what they already have at Lance. So it's not a quality issue, it's just a fact that if you're in you know, below freezing conditions, you got to be aware of that. You've got the tank drain, so you can drain the water tank, the cold water, the hot water, all those things if you're going to be winterizing it. Satellite, all those different connections here, you know, cable, black water, gray water, everything right here. And underneath is where you have the actual sewer connection. All right, moving back here. The cool thing about this camper is you've got two awnings. You got this one right here that goes back from the stern of this camper, and then you got this one right here on the side, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the back of this camper is really what sold it for me with the 975. First off, you got the Lance locker here. Lance locker, you open that sucker up, you've got all kinds of space for all kinds of things, so much room for activities. But I end up using it for all my Z-Man Elastec baits, and you can see, you know, I've got a few that I overloaded the pegs with, and they've fallen down, but the rest of them stay put on the road, which is awesome. So I love this locker, and it's actually fairly deep. You know, you can see got 3 rows of baits with a little bit of space in between them, but very, very usable storage there. I really like this right here. This is an option for extra storage. These containers have a ton of storage space. I primarily use it for my sewer hoses over there, and of course for my water hoses. And then this one right here ends up sliding in and out, so I can actually, I'll go ahead and just show you. That slides in all the way, and that's really cool because you also have extra storage in there. And And then another thing that I want to mention is, you know, I said that I have my sewer hose over there, and the reason I have it over there is it's a little bit too big for this right here. This is a sewer hose container, a little PVC container that usually I carry it in, but that one's a little bit too long. And then you've got this little hitch right here, which is pretty cool if you need a extra cargo basket, or, you know, a bike rack or something like that. But moving on, one of the features I have is I have a backup camera. That's pretty clutch, especially while towing the boat. Really important. And that's just wireless to the monitor in my truck. Really, really super easy to use. And I actually use it as a camera inside too. I plug it into the inside of the camper, and I can see who's knocking on my door. So that's kind of cool. Not paranoid at all. And then the ladder, the one thing about the ladder, man, this ladder, I've always been sketched out about climbing up campers using these ladders, but this is like one of the most bomber heavy duty ladders I've ever seen on an RV or camper. So Lance uses some really heavy duty ladders for you know, installing them on the back of their camper. So really happy with that. And then right back here you can see this is where it's locked right now, but the Cummins generator is in there. It's all propane, so everything runs off of the propane. That I'll show you that hatch pretty soon here. But that generator is awesome. It's 2,500 watts. It can run your microwave or your AC, usually one at a time, and then everything else in the camper. So I use that a lot. I've got about 39 hours on that. I actually did a video which you can actually go to and check it out, for changing the oil on this unit. Really super easy to do. I would highly recommend that you do it yourself and learn how to do that, because it's a super easy task, and it's so easy with the Lance campers too, because there's so much room underneath. If you need it, just jack it up. But that Cummins generator is awesome. It's a little bit loud, a little bit on the loud side. It's a lot louder than like a Honda inverter generator or you know, something similar. But it really does a great job, and I love having it all integrated. The one thing I will mention about the generator though is the fact that you really want to make sure that your batteries are charged enough to be able to start that generator. So don't just think that you can run the batteries all the way down and then just start the generator. The generator needs the batteries to start. So there's no pull start on this generator. So just be cognizant of that. You're always having to pay attention to the power in this, and which it's easy because you've got a monitor inside that tells you what the voltage is, and so on and so forth. And I also have a solar panel on the top, which really does help trickle charging the batteries. And once I get transitioned over to lithium with Battleborn, I probably won't have any more issues, because they're just so efficient and so powerful. So moving on, we've got more seamless or frameless windows here. We've got the Propane. We've got two 20-pounders here. Now 20-pounders, you know, they do last about a week, two of them. If you're running the furnace during the nighttime, and then during the day when you're not there, turning it off, and then running everything else, it'll last about a week. So if I'm going to a cold tournament, or you know, I'm not going to be around propane, because I don't want to trade these out, because a lot of the ones that I trade out for at the stores are 15-pounders, and I don't want to change the size. But if I'm not going to a place where I can get propane, bulk propane on a regular basis, I may bring an extra propane bottle, a 15-pounder, so I can trade that one out. But overall, that's one of my gripes about it, is the fact that we got another Lancer coming in, another camper with the Lance. Man, tournament fishing is just, you know, everybody's kind of leaning towards Lance campers now. But anyways, as far as the 220-pounders go, it doesn't last nearly as long as I'd like. I would really like bigger canisters in here, but I understand there's a space limitation here, and it does the trick, believe me. And I mean, there's not a whole lot of campers this size, you know, that have bigger propane anyways. So that's one of the very few gripes, but really that's just a function of not having as much space. It's just is what it is. All right, so we got another storage container right here. I filled this one up all the way. There's a lot of space in this one. It actually has a little bit extra storage inside and to the right, just a little bit, a little sliver. This right here is the furnace. Okay, so this gets pretty hot when it's running. The furnace is so efficient. It works so well inside. You know, the heat, the temperature in the camper is so well regulated with the AC in the furnace because it's just such a small area. So it heats up really quick. If you're cold in the morning, you turn that thing on, in 5 minutes you are warmed up. All right, so we got 2 outdoor speakers here. Those you can control on the inside. We'll show you that in the second video, and that's pretty cool. You can listen to music out here, jam out, and do all that good stuff. This container right here is not storage. This is where you're going to find your water pump and some different, you know, wiring and hoses and things like that. This right here is the water fill tank. So you essentially just fill it up with a hose, a clean hose for potable water, and you fill that up. I think that the water tank is 45 gallons. Plenty of water in this camper. We've gone on cross-country trips where we're boondocking it, and it lasts a long time. It can last up to 2 weeks depending on how many times you take a shower. The one tank that really does fill up quick is the gray water. The gray water on this model I think is like 20 something gallons. I'll have to look at it, but it doesn't have a big capacity for the gray water, which is a little bit of a struggle. You'll have to, that's what fills up the quickest, you know, in a few days of taking showers and things like that. Finally, we get to the hot water heater. Okay, this is both electric and propane. I've had this little inline fuse actually go out, so carry a spare one of those. But other than that, this thing, it works perfectly. You know, you can switch between the propane or the electric and do really well. The electric I really like because it's like the perfect temperature. I can hop in the shower, it's not overheating. The propane gets it hot. I mean, it gets real hot, and of course you can make adjustments to it, but the electric for me is pretty sweet when I'm hooked up to shore power. Finally, let's talk about the awning here. This is one of my favorite features of this camper. The awning is awesome. It goes out pretty far. I like to when I have the opportunity, when I have a wide enough site, to park my boat underneath the awning so I can keep everything that I'm working on nice and dry. That's pretty awesome. The best part about this awning is that I'm pretty forgetful. And if I leave the campsite in the morning and maybe a storm rolls through and we've got a little bit of a wind factor, you got some heavy winds, that's like the worst thing for one of these awnings. But the great thing is this is an automatic awning. So if I was to you know, jostle this thing up and down, or the wind was to pick up, this thing's going to go in automatically to protect itself, which is really cool. And so I've left some days, forgot to put it out, and then when I get back in, it's already put itself back because of the wind. So overall, that is the outside, the external review of the outside of the Lance camper, the 975. Great, well-built camper. Got a lot of really cool features on the outside, but the inside is really cool. So check out the second part of this video where we kind of go through the inside of the Lance 975. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the inside of this camper in the next video.